This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
Today, you can go in the water only up to your knee. On Thursday, no beach access.
I hope President Putin is going to be good. And if he's not, it's going to be a rough situation.
A lot of the efforts that the state is making to either fast track or find alternative pathways to get teachers certified has really been effective for us.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. Hurricane Erin is now a dangerous storm and it's not even making landfall. It's the threat of huge swells along the East Coast. CBS reporter Connor Barkan is in Ocean City, New Jersey.
Swimming is either prohibited or restricted at all of the Jersey Shore points. Kathy Kupo from Toms River says her family will not let a trip without swimming in the ocean ruin the fun.
No, because we're here. There's not much we could do. We paid the money, so we make the best of what we can. We're disappointed, but it is what it is. We understand.
The boardwalks and beaches are still open for people who want to spend time outdoors. Coastal flooding could be a problem later this week.
There are alerts from Cape Hatteras and North Carolina all the way to New York City.
Today, you can go in the water only up to your knee. Tomorrow and Thursday, no water. And on Thursday, no beach access.
The hurricane running parallel to the eastern seaboard out at sea. The outer bands will tickle the North Carolina shoreline tomorrow. There was clarity today on where the United States stands as President Trump negotiates peace between Russia and Ukraine. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt this afternoon.
The president has definitively stated U.S. boots will not be on the ground in Ukraine, but we can certainly help in the coordination and perhaps provide other means of security guarantees.
President Trump did an interview with Fox News and said the next step is to get the two countries into a room together.
Let them meet. They haven't been exactly best friends. They haven't gotten along very well.
If that works out, he'll join both countries for a trilateral meeting.
I hope President Putin is going to be good. And if he's not, it's going to be a rough situation.
Striking flight attendants have reached a deal with Air Canada. CBS's Tom Hansen is at New York's LaGuardia Airport.
Look at the board right now shows that many of the flights that are stretching into the afternoon are still canceled for today, but Air Canada has come out. They have said that they hope to resume their operations today. So presumably this afternoon, we're going to start to see a lot less red, a lot more green, and that'll be a huge sigh of relief for all of the passengers who have been waiting to board their flights for the past couple of days.
Democrats returned to the Capitol yesterday in Texas after hiding out in other states for more than 2 weeks to avoid a redistricting vote. The House Speaker would only let them leave with a police escort to make sure they'd be at work for the vote Wednesday this week. For Democrat Nicole Colley, that was too much, so she slept at the Capitol last night.
I have a right to resist. I have a right to oppose.
Governor Greg Abbott says there are more Republicans living in Texas post-pandemic, and the maps need to represent them accurately. Authorities in Baltimore say there are no injuries after an explosion on a cargo ship. It happened early Monday evening near the site of the 2024 Key Bridge collapse. The ship had just left Baltimore Harbor with 23 people on board and a load of coal. This eyewitness tells CBS.
We heard a really loud explosion. We turn around and there's like a 200-foot plume of smoke. Maybe 2 or 5 minutes we hear Mayday, Mayday.
No cause has been given for the explosion. President Trump is moving to eliminate mail-in ballots ahead of the 2026 midterm elections.
The president shared a post on Truth Social, which outlined his plan to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. And it targets what he called highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines.
Ballots are corrupt. Mail-in ballots, you can never have a real democracy with mail-in ballots.
Trump has previously claimed there's been widespread voter fraud involving mail-in ballots and pledged to fight for election integrity. I'm Brian Shook.
And younger generations are picking up the Bible in increasing numbers. It's a trend that's being seen not only in the U.S. The UK's Quiet Revival report shows a 16% increase in church attendance among 18 to 24-year-olds. Russia, meanwhile, saw sales of the Bible grow by 50% last year. Still to come in the 5 o'clock report, more details on the woman running against Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Victor, New York, struggling to afford their fire fire department, and the great hiring of teachers across Pennsylvania is paying off. Those stories after weather with Kevin Williams.
Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Some beneficial rain is ahead across parts of the area. It will be mostly cloudy tonight and tomorrow with showers arriving. A few thundery downpours. Muggier tonight, low temps around 60. Tomorrow cooler than today. High temperatures mid-60s to the mid-70s. Thursday, variable clouds, chance for a shower, high in the 70s, and then sunnier and nicer Friday and Saturday.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories, making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's never had a female governor, but State Treasurer Stacey Garrity hopes to change that next year. She's running to unseat Democratic incumbent Josh Shapiro. Senate President Kim Ward calls Garrity, quote, smart, strong, and fearless.
She does not back down. She's open, she's honest, and I think that she is a nightmare for Governor Shapiro.
Garrity could face a Republican primary challenge from State Senator Doug Mastriano, who lost by double digits to Shapiro in the last gubernatorial race. It was an emotional meeting in suburban Rochester last night about adequate fire and EMS service. People in Victor, New York will have to find alternatives after the Fishers Fire District Board voted to dissolve the district over financial concerns.
If we don't dissolve, many of our residents will have to sell their homes and move out because they won't be able to afford the taxes anymore.
Many angry residents weren't convinced by the board's defense of the decision. Michael Koch is an assistant chief at the hybrid paid and volunteer district and tells Wham News everyone he works with is like
family.
We love you, Chief. Love you, Chief. Love you, Chief.
And they treat every patient, every person they come across, they treat them like family as well.
Despite the emotional comments last night, no fire department after October. As Pennsylvania public schools gear up for a new school year, some administrators say the state's ongoing efforts to train and recruit new educators are beginning to pay off. Michael Vakovich is superintendent of the Windber Area School District and tells WJAC.
The teacher shortage is real. A couple of years ago, maybe about a decade ago, you saw in the Commonwealth about 20,000 certs being issued. Now we're down to around 6,000 annually. It is a challenge that we're all facing, but we're in a good spot. I like where we're at.
Altoona Area School District Superintendent Brad Hatch agrees.
A lot of the efforts that the state is making to either fast track or find alternative pathways to get teachers certified has really been effective for us.
School is just weeks away. And in North Tonawanda, New York, high school senior has been nominated for Sports Illustrated Youth Athlete of the Year. 17-year-old Derek Black plays football, ice hockey, and lacrosse for the Lumberjacks, with football being his favorite sport. Derek was born without a right hand, but he's never let that slow him down. He says his goal is to show others that limitations do not have to define you. Derek is currently in first place in the voting for Sports Illustrated's Youth Athlete of the Year. Next at 5, hometown heroes. This week's guest, Kelly Carson of Franklinville, New York, founder of the Cozy Quilts Ministry, providing quilts for cancer patients, as well as the gospel. Let's listen in.
In 2004, my best friend Connie was diagnosed with colon cancer. And in 1990, I had lost my sister to cancer, and she had taught me during her chemotherapy that cancer and chemo can make a person very cold and just can't get warm even though it's hot outside.
Right.
She taught me that, and then when Connie got cancer, I was learning how to quilt my very first quilt. And so when I finished it, I gave it to her with an explanation of why I was giving it to her and all about God's love for her and that the two of us would always love her and such. And then when I was taking her to chemo, she asked if I would help her make quilts for her chemo partners, other people that were going to chemo.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said, there's 3 other people. And then as we're driving, she says, but there's people there on other days, so maybe 3 to 30 quilts. Could we make 3 to 30 quilts? And I'm like, sure, it's okay.
It's a lot to ask for. You were still a rookie quilter back then.
Exactly. I had made one. So we used the same pattern, and we still use the same pattern today. We did make quilts for other people in her chemo center, and we still drop them off there every month at the same chemo center. Connie went home to be with the Lord in 2007. By 2009, we had several other churches that wanted to start groups, and so we kind of outgrew our little country church in Farmersville, and we had a board of directors and got an attorney on board and became an official 501c3 not-for-profit.
Right.
And and it has grown from there.
It certainly has. I see you're over 9,000 quilts now and still going.
Yes, about 9,300 quilts so far, and we have sent to all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and 20 foreign countries.
That's amazing. Probably couldn't have envisioned that when you were making that quilt number one, could you?
No, not at all. But that's what happens with God. You say yes, and he does amazing things.
So true. He had the plan all along. He just eventually clued you in on it.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about what these quilts, I'm sure you've gotten a lot of feedback over 9,000 quilts over what these can mean to somebody who's going through cancer and chemo.
Oh, we have definitely gotten not 9,300 responses, but hundreds of responses. And from how did you know that lighthouses meant so much to me? And we didn't. That's the Holy Spirit sends the right quilt. Or we know of people who have come to Christ. It's not just a quilt with a tote bag. Mm-hmm. And with that tote bag, they get a book called When God and Cancer Meet by Lynn Ibe. And it's inspirational stories. Every chapter is a different person's journey with cancer and weaves the entire salvation story throughout. So we want to gently lead people to know that God loves them. And we've had many people report having come to Christ through the ministry, but we've also had many Christians who have just felt the love of Christ in a whole new way wrapped around them.
That's Kelly Carson of Franklinville, New York, founder of the Cozy Quilts Ministry. You can subscribe, listen to, and share Hometown Heroes and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
As you get older and presumably wealthier, new avenues open up for ways to give. Hi, I'm Rob West with a Faith and Finance Minute. Many of us begin our giving journey by sharing from our current income. We earn, we save, and then we give as needs arise. However, over time, much of our wealth may shift into non-cash assets, such as stocks, property, or retirement accounts. That opens the door to new forms of generosity. You might consider giving appreciated stock or making a qualified charitable distribution from your IRA, turning a required minimum into an opportunity to support God's kingdom purposes. You can also explore a donor-advised fund, which allows you to give strategically. Whatever the method, the goal is the same: to honor God and give faithfully with what He's provided. Discover the best Christian financial articles, podcasts, and videos by visiting our website, faithfi.com, or by downloading FaithFi, Faith and Finance, from your app store.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, a shark story you won't believe. We've got that after weather.
Hi, I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Some beneficial rain is ahead across parts of the area over the next 24 hours. Parts of our region, western New York particularly, have been in a drought. Other areas have normally dry, and we've got a disturbance arriving from the upper Great Lakes. That'll mean some showers and a couple of thundery downpours. That system departs tomorrow afternoon, paving the way for clearing skies and some nice weather to close the week and start the weekend. It will be mostly cloudy tonight and tomorrow with showers arriving, a few thundery downpours. Muggier tonight, low temps around 60. Tomorrow cooler than today, high temperatures mid-60s to the mid-70s. Thursday, variable clouds, chance for a shower, high in the 70s, and then sunnier and nicer Friday and Saturday.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally at 5, among the hazards of living in the land down under, shark attacks. A New South Wales surfer lived to tell the tale after a 16-foot-long great white shark chomped his surfboard in half.
That is next level, mate.
These folks were in the water nearby.
As I was paddling back out, it was just an explosion of water and foam. One part of the board went that way. His board was still attached to him. He started saying, "Shark, shark."
I was just like, okay, we're okay. He's okay. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die.
Well, that's one way to look at it, but the incident was enough to convince this man to stay out of the surf for a while.
I think I'll go to the pool.
Good call, mate. Good call. And that's the world that we live in for Tuesday, the 19th of August. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.